All right, folks, football is never out of the equation. We've got the NFL draft behind us. We've got OTAs before you know it, training camp preseason, and they'll be kicking this thing off. I'm Brian Blessing in Las Vegas here at bangthebook.com, inviting you to follow along on Twitter at bangthebook. Follow me on Twitter at Brian Blessing, and we're going to focus on the AFC and season win totals and the prospects for teams to take a step forward, be a contender, or who are those teams that are highly thought of but turn out to be phony. Let's start in the AFC East. Nothing new here. New England with 13 wins last year. 11, the projected season win total, and the over is minus $1.45. Seems like maybe behind the scenes there's some drama with New England, but it's still Belichick and Brady, and if anything, the majority of the AFC East has remained where they are, if not taken a step backwards. The Bills, 9 wins last year, really overachieved. 6.5 is the number here. Josh Allen comes in, the rookie quarterback, but McCarron could very well be the opening day starter. The one thing to watch for, Brandon being the GM, I think this guy really knows what he's doing, but McDermott, the head coach, is a defensive specialist, and I think they got some really good players coming in on defense. I look for this to be a very stout and improved Buffalo Bills defense. But everybody's expecting them to regress from 9 wins. 6.5 is the number. And by the way, they've got a brutal schedule. You got to look at the schedule. The first half of their season, tough teams, majority of them on the road. The Jets, 5 wins last year, 6 under 30 this year, and we'll see how quickly Darnold gets into the fray there. As for the Dolphins, 6 last year, 6 over 30 is the number this year. Dolphins, there's some changes there, and we'll see how this is all going to pan out. They kind of underachieved last year. Let's go to the AFC North with 13 wins for the Steelers last year, 10.5 the projected total here. Once Roethlisberger starts hinting about retirement, it's almost like you're almost retired. But when you've got weapons like Bell, who's unhappy with his contract situation, and Brown, you have to look at the Steelers to have a very stout campaign again. Cincinnati, 7 last year, 7 under 30 is the number this year. I think the Bengals have done some nice moves, mostly trying to shore things up on the offensive line, but they do reside, in a division featuring the Steelers and the Ravens, who are, generally a handful. Baltimore, that number 9 last year, and they won 9 games last year. 8 over 20 is the number this year. Ozzie Newsome had done a great job putting the piece of the puzzle together for this team. Baltimore, kind of right there on the ledge of going down or up, kind of a gray area for me. And then Cleveland, the betting public has loved Cleveland, even though they've been atrocious. 0 wins last year. Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starting quarterback. Baker Mayfield, the first pick of the draft. When does he get in? They acquired a lot of good players. I don't know about going up to get the cornerback at number 4 in the draft, but they're at 5.5 over 30. Still a lot of love on the board for the Cleveland Browns. In the AFC South, well, Jacksonville last year, what a season. 10 wins last year. 9 over 30 is the number. Again, it all comes back to the point that you're sitting there with spectacular players across the board, but the question mark is the quarterback, Blake Bortles. 9 over 30 is the number there. Indianapolis, this is the biggest gray area of all for me when you look at season win totals. What do we do with Andrew Luck? Luck, 6.5 is the number for the Colts this year. They won 4 games last year. If this guy comes back, it's a big if. And if he comes back healthy and the Andrew Luck, they can win 9-10 games. But we just don't know what to do with Andrew Luck. Tennessee, 9 wins last year. 8 is the projected number this season. Houston's the intriguing one with 4 wins on the docket last year. 8.5 over 40. And you can understand why. If Deshaun Watson stays healthy, you get J.J. Watt back. 8.5 over 40 is an intriguing number for the Houston Texans. And then we go to the West in the AFC with the Chiefs, 10 wins last year. 8.5 is the number this year as the Mahomes era is going to start there. Andy Reid does a great job with young quarterbacks. The Chargers, always love for the Chargers. 9 wins last year. 9.5 is the projected win total for these guys. Phillip Rivers, they've got talent wrapped around him, but just something always seems to go amiss with the Chargers. In fact, they lose Hunter Henry to a knee injury in OTAs. There's always something happening with the Chargers. Oakland, 6 wins last year, the biggest underachiever. The number now is 8 over 30. Of course, John Gruden gets to work with Carr. The Raiders certainly will be a polarizing and I think a popular team on the board. I would look for that number to go to 8.5. at least, maybe 9. And then Denver, 5 wins last year, massive underachievement. But 7 over $1.30 is the number, and you got to like, fish rots from the head down, or it succeeds from the top. John Elway knows what he's doing. I can see Denver bouncing back in very short order. It's amazing. Football is never out of the equation. Season win totals are up. We're going to have subsequent videos with college football season win totals. There are actually lines up for all 17 weeks of the NFL. It's the 800-pound gorilla, and it's always a topic of discussion. In Las Vegas, Brian Blessing, glad to be with you right here at bangthebook.com.